Okay, let's play a game. Which of these two websites looks more luxurious? The one on the right or on the left? I'll probably choose this one. Now, out of these two, which one looks better? I'll probably choose this one. And final round, which of these two websites looks more luxurious and upscale? I'll probably choose this one. And so you probably have a Gohighlevel agency and you're wondering, does my website look cheap or does it look upscale and expensive? So in this video, I'm going to show you the differences between a $500 website and a $5,000 website and the 3 rules to make awesome Gohighlevel websites. Rule number 1, less is more. Great websites usually convey more with as little design as possible, while on the other hand, cheap websites look cluttered and usually have a ton of stuff going on. Okay. Talking about less is more. I think the best example that comes to mind is Apple. I noticed that their website is very simple, but it gets the point across. Copywriting is simple, it's not cluttered, and they are very selective with the elements in each section. So if you look at this section right here, there's not much going on, but it's conveying a lot. And so this is what makes something look expensive. It's having a lot of white space, a lot of empty space in one page. So if you look at this Mac Mini, you'll see like there's not much going on this side. This side is completely empty, but with the bare minimum elements, it's getting the point across and it looks expensive. Now, let me show you the opposite example of a bad website that looks super cheap and is very cluttered. And the first one is Daily News. So this website has a lot going on. My eyes don't know where to look at. There's banners, there's logos, text, super crammed, and it's just a horrible design. Another bad example, I mean, these are extremes, but I just want to make my point across. When you have too much stuff going on, it just makes the experience look cheap. You have different colors, we have different text sizes, smaller text, many different elements, ton of different sections here, and it just makes the website look extremely cheap. And now that you saw what a cheap website looks like, let me show you some good examples. So this one right here is a developer, I believe, and it looks super clean. You see that it has very few elements, but it's just easy to navigate. I know exactly where my eyes should be focusing on, and as I scroll through the website, it makes total sense. I know exactly what I'm looking at. I know there's a few elements, but every element in the website has a purpose. Here, there's only like 3 elements, but it's getting the point across. It's showing us one of his projects. It's easy for me to understand what's in front of me. Another good example is this website right here, which I believe is another marketing agency. Very simple, a logo up here, text in the middle, and it's easy for me to navigate. It looks super high end because there's very few elements per section. You see there's a lot of white space, there's a lot of empty space, and this makes for an awesome experience. Let me show you another one. Now this one right here is for a window company, and it goes to show like this is a very traditional type of industry, and usually the websites look kind of similar, like cookie cutter websites, but they went with a very minimal, like clean design. They have very few elements, their copywriting is very clear, powered, wireless, intelligent, and it just makes sense. Like having a website like this with a lot of empty space just gets the point across. Next one here is this digital marketing agency, I believe, and they have like 1 element per page. Again, this is super minimalist, but it definitely looks way more high end compared to something like this that just looks super cheap. So when you're building a section, a few good questions to keep in mind are, what is the main purpose of this section? What is the key functionality that I must have for this section to make sense? Can I say this in a simpler way? Meaning, if you have a clutter of text, can you just reduce the text? Can you make it simpler? Can you make it shorter? Could I skim through this section and still get the main idea of what I'm trying to say? A lot of people visiting websites don't actually read the whole thing. They just kind of skim through the sections. So a good test is skim through your own sections. And if you can't make out what you're trying to say, then it's probably too cluttered. And another good one that I love asking myself is, can I remove anything from this particular section? And does the website still make sense? Essentially, is there anything extra that is not serving any purpose that I can just remove? Rule number 2. Use spacing, hierarchy, and colors to make your website easier to be consumed. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example of using font size, color, and then hierarchy to make a section look more luxurious and of course easier to consume. So right here, I have this section that we created for our website, and I purposely made it hard for people to be able to read it. And so everything looks kind of cluttered. There's no real hierarchy, and the text just looks very similar, so my eyes don't know where they should be looking at. Now, on the flip side, by just adjusting a few things with the font size, which is this one. The font is bigger, changing the text, changing the color of the text to be a little bit darker. It just makes it easier on the eye and it looks way better. So look at the difference between this section right here and this section right here. Much better. Okay, so let me show you a couple good examples of other websites doing this. And so this looks super clean. This is Netflix. And you can see that this is white and then they have a slightly darker like white/gray, and makes it easier for me to know what is the headline. And then they have good spacing as well, and it just looks very premium. Another good example is Stripe. So if you look at Stripe, their website looks very clean, very modern, and they have an accent text. They have a dark black, and then you'll notice this is slightly lighter gray. So there's a clear hierarchy as to where my eyes should focus as I'm consuming the website. So I see the accent text, then I read the main headline, and then if I want to keep reading, then I just see this right here, which is slightly lighter gray. Another good example is Econflow. I was checking out their website and they have accent color up here, which is the logo, dark black, and then lighter black. So this is just an awesome way of building a website that looks very clean, very aesthetic. Rule number 3 is similar is good. One of the main reasons why your website may look cheap is just because every element looks different. So let me show you a few examples. Okay, and one dead giveaway of just websites that don't look luxurious is when everything is just different. We want to keep our website similar elements, similar sections, so that it looks consistent. So let me show you this bad example. This is from like Gohighlevel's website template library, but just everything looks different. Looking at it, like there's different colors, these stock photos right here, text down up here, different colors up here, blues, pinks, whites, blacks. The section look completely different. There's no consistency throughout the website, and so it just ends up looking cheap. On the flip side, let me show you our SaaS website that we built, and we wanted it to look similar, consistent. So you get that feel, that constant flow of the website that looks very similar. Everything looks consistent. The elements all look similar. As I keep checking out all the other features, it gives you that consistency and it just looks premium. And so when you're building your websites, similar is better. Another good example is Econflow. Everything just looks similar. Their style, the graphic styles, the colors, the headlines, and it makes sense. It flows naturally and the whole website has this vibe, this feeling of tech, innovative, it's clean, it's aesthetic, and it just looks upscale. So if your website has all different elements, looks kind of confusing, different color text, and it just kind of looks like it was randomly put together, then it's going to look cheap. You want to have a consistency across the entire website so that it looks premium. So there it is. That's the difference between a $500 website and a $5,000 website. And if you're looking for a website and you don't want to build it yourself, click the first link in bio to get our websites that are pre-built for GHL users, or the second link if you want a custom website for your business.